This story starts around the time I graduated college in 2023, and instead of looking for a job with my degree, I did what any sane person would do and went to BlizzCon in California. It was there where Blizzard revealed the War Within trailer along with upcoming changes to look forward to. Quick lore drop. I've been playing WoW since I was a kid, and I've played every expansion and cleared the majority of endgame content that Blizzard provided. From Icing Ragnaros, burning the Lich King, to watching the biggest flops ever. I've been there. However, I took a break from WoW because Blizzard was cooking heat in the kitchen with the latest updates, and I just had to step out of the kitchen to cool off. I mean, come on. With the new expansion coming up in the horizon, I decided to give Blizzard one last chance in the War Within. After purchasing The War Within, I booted up this sacred game that has single-handedly revolutionized the MMO RPG video game franchise. After playing 2024 as a Game of the Year, Overwatch 2, I was looking forward to this. To ensure the authentic World of Warcraft experience, I decided to start over with a new character. And while you have to choose a realm for your characters to be on, and I chose Stormrage. Then you have the option to play the Horde or the Alliance. Since I have a loving family with a father figure, I chose the Alliance. Now you have to choose your race. Afterwards, you choose your class. Warriors are Chads, Hunters are people who think the earth is flat, Mages are Discord mods, Rogues are Roaches, Priests are meh, Warlocks are schizophrenics. Paladins e-date with people who play priests. Druids are Beastar fans. Shamans are actually good people. Monks are Bruce Lee enjoyers. Demon hunters are edgelords. Death knights are, demi-chads. And invokers are people you should steer clear from at all costs. Then you have the option to customize your character and give your character a name. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room, and that is Exile's Reach. The only conceivable way I would suggest picking Exile's Reach if you struggle with the concept of being a functional person. If you don't wrestle with the concept, if either you should eat your keyboard or how to install or uninstall Bluetooth on your phone, then skip Exile's Reach. Like seriously, Exile's Reach is for people who have never touched a single video game in their life. So, successful people. No. In all seriousness, Exile Reach is an understandable play on Blizzard's part because retail can be difficult for some people and confusing. They're making sure that their audience feels A, addressed, and B, ready to actually fight that horrors that Azeroth houses, like they're getting you ready to play the game. I chose to do the regular human campaign since I have a functional frontal cortex. Keep in mind that different races have different stutter zones, but will converge on the same path later in the story. Congratulations, you just opened the way to an unhealthy addiction. Say goodbye to your friends, loved ones, and that neighbor who doesn't know how to wear clothes at all because, well, all you'll ever need is WoW. The first thing I did was move around my UI and mess around with settings because I'm a clean bitch. Let me explain an industry secret of WoW. 20% of WoW is combat, 15% is lore, 10% is crafting and gold making, 5% is trade chat elitists trying to decipher the complexities of the human condition, and 60% is drip. Don't try to understand my math, just understand my motion. I chose not to use my heirlooms because I wanted to see how quickly I could level up as if I was a new player. Side tangent part 2. I used to play WoW on a bottom line PC I got in 2020. That was fine, it got me through it. But over time, it struggled to play WoW even on the lowest graphic settings. It was still playable, but not peak enjoyment, if that makes sense. However, with this absolute beast of a PC from, not sponsored by the way, Starforge Systems, I can play on the highest settings like no one's business. There wasn't much else to say about Northshire Abbey, and at level 6, they sent me to Goldshire. Goldshire is pretty much akin to a nightclub. During the day, there's nothing to do, but during the night, it's the closest thing that Blizzard will ever get to their own Tinder app. I blazed through Elwynn Forest until I got to level 10, which I got access to my specialization. Quick rundown. Play whatever spec you want to play because it doesn't matter until level 80 where you should really focus on playing an optimal build. Oh my god. I sounded like the players I hate. Wait a minute. Actually, scratch that. Play whatever the hell you want to play because fun is always greater than being top damage because if you're having fun, you're probably already doing great damage already. Depending on your class, you could have a tanking, damage, or healing specialization, and you could get different spells depending on your specialization too. Then you have skill points to use use in your spec. Too long, didn't read about specializations. You hit harder, and you get cool spells as you level. Something new for me is that I didn't know you could fly at level 10. That's news to me. And didn't know that I could also use Dragonflight flying in non-Dragonflight zones. So this was actually a Blizzard W. You already know I had to rep the BlizzCon 2023 mount. It's all about drip. Just a quick add-in, you have the ability to swap between old school flight styles and Dragonflight flying styles, which is just a nice addition for people who prefer the traditional way, you know? Then I decided to head to the most expansion ever and level to 70 there. After watching the cutscenes, I was finally headed to Dragonflight. Welcome to the Dragon Isles, where you have to fix everyone's problems and reunite people.
Wow.
I'm going to keep this section brief because this is a War Within review and no one cares about this shit. I chose a quest instead of dungeon grinding because I found that when I was leveling or getting a level every 7 minutes, which was faster than dungeons. Now there's different types of quests you'll have access to in WoW, whether it be unaliving a big bad and collecting goods, or my personal favorite, escorting an NPC across the map, which is one of the greatest things Blizzard has ever done. They really sold the cake on this absolute peak content right here. I mean, come on, is this not peak enjoyment or what? Then I decided to pick up some more bag space at the auction house because not having enough bag space is like not having Spotify Premium. I tried turning in this quest, tried bringing him this little pet, and he didn't want it. So I promptly deleted the quest and moved on. One thing Blizzard does well is make interesting level design and wasting potential. I wish we could have had some more Emerald Dream content in the plains. I just feel like the Emerald Dream has been such an important lore aspect and we just kind of walk past it in Dragonflight. Now the mobs that Blizzard creates are really interesting. This isn't even satire, I just like the way the mobs look. However, you'll notice that some mobs are just reskin of other mobs in previous expansions with similar movements. Some mobs even have instant resurrections, which is another Blizzard W. Bro, already respawned? Hello? With every W, there must always be another massive fail, and that is the crafting order system. Now, I don't know if it's changed in the War Within, but man, the crafting order system flopped in Dragonflight. I just feel like it was so confusing and no one really cared because they could have just used the auction house. With some more questing, races, and Vietnam flashbacks, I finally hit level 68, which got me access to the War Within. The first part of the War Within was actually engaging. It was nice to see important characters from previous expansions like Thrall, Jaina, Magni, Jaina, Anduin, Khadgar, and of course Jaina. Now we, in World of Warcraft fashion, immediately get jumped by the main antagonist of the story. The Nerubians are from the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, which Blizzard redesigned and updated for the War Within, and to be honest, they actually look good. Within the first hour of the expansion, we meet Queen Ansurek, Xal'atath, and watch Khadgar get hollow purpled out of existence. Here's my honest reaction. I feel like Dalaran's about to blow up. I can't believe that shit actually blew up. After Dalaran returned to the Earth, we had to make a last stand on Normandy Beach, where I kind of found out that I was severely undergeared. Right off the bat, I like the way that I'm interacting with the environment. When I talk to some NPCs, they say something to me which is nice and makes me feel like I'm actually a part of the story. Before we were doomed, Bilgrim saves us and brings us to the capital city of the Earthern, Dornegal. We saved the city and are sent off to reunite the council. Before I went down that path, however, I decided to explore the Isle of Dorne. I like the level design of the Isle of Dorne. It's simple and it just feels like a good starter zone, if that makes sense. I hit level 71 and got access to hero talents. I love the addition of hero talents to the game because I enjoy the feeling of getting access to new talents that make me feel, you know, OP. They make me want to try other classes to see their new OP abilities, so this is another Blizzard W. After doing a bunch of side quests, I finally returned to the main story. However, after returning to the main story, I saw there was a rare mob nearby and decided to make him take an involuntary nap. This mob dropped an extremely rare shard that gets you access to Alunria, which is a really cool mount and is really rare. This is similar to the Sky Shards in Mists of Pandaria, that if you got 10 of them, you could get Alani. Shortly after getting the shard, I was sent on my first delve. I I generally believe that delves are a massive Blizzard W. If you don't know, delves are soloable content that feels like a mini dungeon. You can do these with a group, or you can call upon a follower to help you. Now, my only follower is Braun Bronzebeard at this point, and I don't know if you can get access to other followers. You have the ability to either make Braun a DPS or a healer, and I chose to make him a healer. Some mobs in this delve know how to hit hard. Within delves are little collectibles that increase your follower's XP and in turn his level. Also, there's chests that yield highly valuable goods. Nice to have. Some are worth, I think there's like a snake oil item that you can sell for 200 gold, which is pretty cool. At the end, there's a boss that has some really cool mechanics and a room that gives you your rewards. If you're in a bountiful delve, you can use special keys that you get from doing endgame content to open special chests that give you high level gear. Some even say this gear is comparable to heroic raid gear. I don't know. All in all, delves are fantastic. The only drawback is the scaling of the delves. As I was increasing the difficulty of the delves, I was getting smacked around because my item level was just too low. So there are some tuning issues, but it's hard to tune these delves when there are so many different classes with different builds that can clear all types of content. Speaking of soloable content, I was sent off my first follower dungeon. These are essentially dungeons, but with NPCs. You have the option to have your follower lead the way, or you can take the reins yourself. Since I had no idea where I was going and that I'm an idiot, I let my follower lead the way. Your follower can even lay markers down that will help you guide your way through the dungeon. An issue I encountered was when I left Baelgrim behind after flying across the valley on my Stormrook. When he finally teleported to me, he was fucking dead, and his murderer was here to finish business. Essentially, there's a lot of soloable content to do that yields high level gear, which is nice to see because I feel like the majority of WoW's player base is casual. Shortly after the dungeon, I went to the mead yard in which Baelgrim made a heroic sacrifice to kill a big bad. I'm sensing a trend here, Blizzard. Afterwards, we fix the core way, and I make my descent to the Ringing Deeps. Right off the bat, the Ringing Deeps reminded me of a mix of Zalara Cave and Tanaan Jungle, so I knew this zone was about to be mid as hell. I met the High Speaker who traded his people for a higher power, which is, you know, it's a new concept for WoW. Anyway, I made my way to Gunnergaz and found a chest that required a fucking master's degree to open. I met Skitter, who sounds a lot like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Basically, Skitter wanted us to save his people from injustice. Also, this questline just felt like a filler questline, and I struggled to connect to the characters that this zone provided. I completed another delve, watched a village turn into Walmart customers, and saw Magni finally return to his original form. This zone was okay in total, nothing too great and nothing too bad. This zone left me a little hollow, and I had high expectations for the next zone. I'm putting this on everything, man. Hollowfall is the best fucking zone Blizzard has made, period, and that's objectively speaking. Here's my honest reaction. Okay, now this fucking is sick. The music / score is insane and the ambiance is nice. The environment is just damn pleasing to look at, and the questline, man, it's actually good. I like the interactions between Anduin and Farron and enjoying seeing Anduin taking his light back. Speaking of light, you see that crystal up there? Yeah, it changes colors to a dark cycle, which is absolutely W level design and another rare Blizzard W. As you might be able to tell, I really like this region. When it's dark out, the gremlins come out and start gremlining around. After the cultists took over this beacon, I went in the basement and found this interesting shadow who began to fucking haunt me.
What the dog doing?
Anyways, in this cave, Anduin opens up to us and Farron gives Anduin some life advice, which is actually good life advice in general. After going back to the beacon to cleanse it of the evil goop, I realized something important. I just realized right now that Shelly has one arm. I made my way to Meridar, which is beautifully designed. Blizzard, please hire that poor unpaid intern who made this level design to Hollowfall. I was enjoying my time entertaining the local orphans when the Shadow Money Wizards are getting attacked. Afterwards, we launched an all-out offensive in which Anduin, my glorious king, decided to take after his father and jump off a damn zeppelin to save his people he cares about. I don't know, man. It must be a Rin thing. However, we immediately forsake Anduin's sacrifice and crash into Nerubian territory after foolishly going back to check on him. I'm gonna be honest, I got no idea what the fuck I was even doing in this zone, man. Maybe it was the mindset of just trying to hit level 80 that I blitzed through this part of the story. This is probably the quickest zone that I trucked through in the war with him. Granted, the region's design is actually good. Not as good as Hollowfall, but still cool looking. However, the final section of the campaign here really felt lacking for me. Like, I get that we are plotting to overthrow the Nerubian government, if you will, but like, why? Why did Queen Ansarek kill her mother? Power, maybe? Wow! Killing your parents and trading your people for power. What a new concept. There really isn't much to write home about here. I freed some prisoners, found Anduin and Illyria, watched Illyria ruin everything actually, and finished the campaign just barely before hitting level 80. To finish up, I did some world quests and finally hit level 80 and started indulging in some endgame content. World quests are quick little things that help you get some good gear, gold, and upgradable materials. Every week they have special assignments within a region that awards better gear along with a surplus of other goodies. I usually got keys that open up bountiful caches and delves along with pieces of gear that was better than what I currently have. There's also a weekly boss that can spawn in one of the 4 regions that drops raid level gear. I also got a world soul vision from doing world quests, and from my experience, its purpose is to drop upgrade materials for your gear. There are 2 stations where you upgrade your gear. You can go to these 2 Drakthir to upgrade the item level of your gear at a price of Valor Stones, or you can go to the Catalyst to create set gear that gives you extra bonuses to your spells. Personally, I like that you have the ability to manually get better gear by upgrading what you have at the cost of materials you grinded for. Sometimes I get real fucking unlucky in raids. I remember doing raids back in Battle for Azeroth and going a whole damn week without getting a single piece of gear from that raid. Especially in Dragonflight, when they added the ability to roll for the gear you needed. Now I had to compete with other serotonin deficient individuals for upgrades. It is what it is. Still though, I actually like the rolling system because I somewhat have a gambling addiction. In summary, world quests are short and sweet, and the upgrade system is a nice aspect of the upgrade grind. Sometimes there's a time walking event that allows you to do dungeons from the past, and if you do 4 of these, you get a really nice piece of raid gear, which is a W. The time walking period for me was peak of the Lich King, and found out quickly that some of these mobs still know how to smack hard. Sometimes all you have to do is 4 heroic or mythic dungeons and you'll get heroic level raid gear. Sometimes you do a whole fucking dungeon, not get any progress to getting said heroic gear. Twice. To fix said fuckery,
$74 billion company, by the way,
I had to delete the quest and pick it back up. The 4 actual War Within dungeons are nice, with the best being, and you'll never suspect this one, the Dawnbreaker. Utilizing flight and flying to where the combat is a real engaging thing that gives me a certain rush. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat this shit. Hollowfall and the Dawnbreaker dungeon will save the Soul Society. I didn't do mythics because it's literally dungeons with extra steps and far more bitching. After that, I finally hit item level 567 and I was ready to do... I was actually looking forward to doing the raids, believe it or not. The first ring of the raid went off without a cinch. I wish there was some Thanos level drama to talk about here, but there wasn't much. The expansion has been out for a while and almost everyone has this down to a complete science. I pretty much figured out everything as I went. Yeah, I got hit by some shit I should have avoided, but I quickly adapted and pressed on. After the final boss of the wing, I got a neck piece, which was an upgrade for me. However, another member approached me about said neck piece, and here's what happened. The second wing is a little juicier. After wiping on the second boss, our party was in disarray because people were popping eggs. I don't know what kind of person lacking in basic comprehension skills could fuck that up, but here we are. My camera is covering up chat, but essentially everyone was pointing fingers at everyone, and our tank was the one complaining the most. The very same tank that doesn't know how to taunt an arachnid, but hey, you know what they say. LFR is pretty much the same level as Worlds. Now you might notice that one dwarf paladin has a skull icon above him, and I was wondering what that was all about. The tank was furious at this player for being bad at an LFR raid because, like I said, this shit is serious. It was so bad, it got to the point where he was linking damage meters and calling him out for not doing his part. Everyone was actually retaliating on the lactase deficient tank for being a bitch, and his retaliation was not accepting a res in the middle of the last boss fight. I was donated a res because I jumped into a fucking black hole on accident and was grateful to finish the fight. The final boss of the raid was actually a pretty engaging fight with interesting mechanics, and I really feel that Blizzard did a good job here. And we felt here without any real trouble. Like I said, this has been out for a while. Then we got the end of the raid cutscene where Xal'atath talked to Queen Ansarek. I'm not even gonna pull punches here. I cannot tell you what this cutscene was, guys. Like, yay, Xal'atath, my beloved, is on screen, but like, what is this? This didn't really add any spice to the story. Like, this was just a bland cutscene. It's like I went to a famous restaurant known for their beef Wellingtons and red velvet cakes and ordered a whole dish of fucking white rice and tofu. With that cutscene, it is now time for my verdict of The War Within. That's it. That was the cutscene. Essentially, I set an internal fun limit that if The War Within exceeded said limit, I would keep playing. And here's a detailed sketch I'm in Microsoft Paint to visualize. As you can see, I started with the campaign and felt that the campaign, it exceeded my limits. I believe that the War Within campaign was actually the best campaign it's been compared to past updates. Now here we are with my next rational thoughts. I'm not even going to sugarcoat this shit because this video is already beginning to get too long. Look, no bullshit, cut the tapes. It's you and me right now. I'm going to keep playing this game, okay? Blizzard fucking reeled me in again. Now I'm going to say they cleared my fun limiter thingy, but they were just a tad above it,
Real quick now.
The campaign, best it's been in a while. Granted, the bar wasn't set high. The zones are good, with Hollowfall being the best zone with some of the best ambient music. The dungeons and raids are engaging and stimulating enough to the point where I enjoyed them. Dabs are fun. I feel like the whole expansion is catered to both casual and serious audiences. They have options for both sides of the coin and what they want to do. Are you someone with a wife, kids, real life responsibilities? Then this game is perfect for you because there's all the soulable content it provides. Are you someone who is terminally online like me? Then this game is perfect for you because there's content that caters to your deepest desires. These are my honest thoughts, and I'm going to dive deeper into WoW because I'm enjoying this expansion. They hooked me. Now I'm probably going to release a video about my deeper thoughts later, but I'm not going to talk about this because this video is just me giving WoW one last chance, and god damn it, they did not waste their chance because The War Within passes by a tad. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like, comment. It really helps me out. Comment if you came back to The War Within or if you didn't come back, because I want to hear why. I'm actually interested in both parties and what they have to say about World of Warcraft. Or if you have something else to share about WoW, any fun experiences, let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all for the next story.